Good morning, friends, and welcome to February in my garden. This year is starting off strong so far, mostly because we've had a really mild winter, um, which, is good and bad. But for my garden, it's been great. We actually, I don't know if you can tell, but it is sunny and bright and beautiful. There's not a cloud in the sky. I'll show you. I'll give you a little clip of what the sky looks like right now. And it's actually supposed to be a high of 80 today, so don't let this sweater fool you. So I figured I would just show you around. I have done a handful of things in February. One of them is that hill, which I'm going to go finish. Well, I'm going to at least do part of at the end of this. And then I have also started seeds. I actually started them January 31st, but they have grown so much. I'll show you what those look like. And I have uppotted a handful of the tomatoes, and I've started a couple new basil seeds that I don't think have popped up yet. And my husband just pointed out that I didn't start any jalapenos, which he would have liked, so I am going to be adding jalapenos to that. I don't know if I'm going to be starting any more plants by seed, maybe some green onions. So let's just see what is growing in February right now. A few of up close of the things that I'm really excited about because the trees are blooming, which means we're going to get fruit this year, which of course I knew, but it's just every year. I love it. I'm so excited to see it happen. And I don't know. I actually haven't looked around, so we're just going to do that together. So let's go. Let's go find out what's growing.
So here's what I'm growing inside right now. I have the San Marzanos, which are doing really great. The Roma tomatoes, I'm kind of focusing on paste tomatoes this year. I've got some basil growing that I started before. And in the back, those empty cells are more basil that I just seeded, so they just haven't popped up yet. And then to the left there are some California bell peppers, and then this is little gem lettuce that is one of my favorite lettuces.
Okay, because I can, we're going to start in my favorite part of the garden at the moment. There are some positives and negatives right here. So these are the shallots, which I'm so excited about. But you can see there has been some damage here, and also on the garlic, which I'll show you. And that is because right up there, we have no rain gutters. So it has just been dumping into these planters, which I knew was going to happen, but I did not plan accordingly. And I was sick right when the rain hit, so I didn't do what I needed to do to protect these. And I'm really going to regret it because you can actually see where it forced like the sand in the soil to separate and come to the top. So the soil got very hard. And so, yeah, there's been some damage here. So this is the garlic I planted from last year. I replanted it rather, and it's struggling. So yeah, I'm not sure if it was already diseased or what. But this is the garlic I planted that I bought from seed garlic, which looked amazing until those rains hit. And so I'm hoping that didn't do too much damage. What happened last year was the same thing happened, and it forced the garlic heads to split open, which was not ideal. But it's where we're at right now, so that's what we're living with. And then right here, this got a little bit less damage. This is also shallots, and same with this garlic. This garlic did not get as much damage as the other one. This is the strawberry bed that I plan on moving, and so it looks terrible. But as you can see, we're still getting strawberries. There's more down there. It's a mess. There's weeds in it. It's way overcrowded, and so they're all kind of competing for light and soil and everything, and you can see the soil level dropped so much. My plan is to get something like a green stalk maybe and move these out and use this for growing. Probably it's like a nice warm sunny spot here, but in the heat of the summer it doesn't get it too bad, so I think my plan will be to do like zucchinis here. I think that would be a good spot for some sort of summer squash. The nasturtium are finally starting to go out. This is a green onion I left here. I was trying to see if it would go to seed, and it has not yet, so I might just pull that. You can see the bees are very excited about the nasturtium, even though it looks a little dismal at the moment. I did go ahead and plant a little bit of basil right here just because I need the space in my seeding tray. So I need to water that because I have been neglecting that. This is the other side. The nasturtium looks better from over here. The lime tree is also covered in bees. Actually, it's covered in bees. Wow, there's a lot of bees on there right now. I don't know if you can see all those. But it's also covered in blossoms, and it smells amazing, which is probably why the honeybees are all over it right now. The Dancy Mandarin is definitely struggling. I think it got some sort of disease over the winter. Probably it's a similar situation where it's kind of getting a little bit of runoff, and I don't know if the stuff coming off the roof is very healthy. So probably should need to treat this for something, and then also fertilize it. Pineapples getting bigger every day. Every time I come out here, I try to look and see if there's pineapple growing out through it. I can't see anything except for there's a bunch of spider webs in there. The back hill has been the biggest project that I've been working on, basically cleaning it up. If you weren't here last year, I was pregnant and wasn't able to really come in here when I needed to and clean all this up. So this entire hill was covered in weeds. And this year, I've been stripping all of the mulch, which is what the weeds were kind of growing in, and putting down new landscaping fabric. So that's why the top looks nice. I'm going to go ahead and try to finish that project today. And then I will come and I've got to figure out a way to clean up this bottom because it's probably filled with weed seeds, and that's where I plan on planting everything. So that's not ideal. The citrus trees are doing fine. This is a lemon here. The Caracark orange up there has two little oranges on it. The Eva's Pride peach is the one right here. I'll give you a close up. It's so beautiful right now. It is obviously flowering and putting on some leaves now too. And then the what's this called next to it? The August Pride. This is the August Pride. It's just starting to put on some leaves and flowers as well. Okay, so up at the top of the hill we have our apples, which are also starting to flower right now. Both of them are, I think. These are both summer apples, so they put on fruit before like your standard fall apples. They're looking great. These are the pluots, which normally have flowers on them right now. So I don't know if I need to be concerned, but I don't think so because they have little flower buds and little leaf buds. The Dancy Mandarin right here, I am seeing small signs of it putting on leaves, which typically the flowers come before the leaves. So I've never experienced that before. Let me know if you have, where everything's coming on late, or if leaves come on before flowers. That is just not usual for my trees. So I'm hoping that it's just because of the weird mild weather we had and that it will be fine. Because typically my pluots are pretty heavy lifters, especially this spindly little one on the right here actually is the one that produces the most usually. That is the Flavor Grenade pluot. Though I do really like the Dancy. Am I calling it Dancy? Not Dancy. I'm so sorry. I keep saying that wrong. It's the Dapple Dandy. Different word. The Dapple Dandy pluots on the left. And then the avocados are struggling just like they always do this time of year. So I really need to give them a little TLC after being neglected so much last year. I should probably come in and paint them too in the next month or two because there are some very exposed, like you see up the top, and I need to come in and paint those so they don't get sunburned. And this was just some sort of happy accident. I did not plant these kale plants. They planted themselves. So those probably are going to get to stay there. And this as well. This is from last year. And look at how healthy it looks. So we'll probably start eating kale again really soon. I didn't realize this was down here. All right, so that is it. Now my project is to get up on that hill and try to get as much of that, the landscaping fabric down as I can. That is pretty much it for February. I mean, the month is already mostly over anyway. But my plan is for March to come out and harden off those seedlings after this next storm we're having. And then I guess we're going to start planting things. Yeah, honestly, probably going to start planting things in the next 3 weeks or so. So that's really exciting. I hope that you guys are able to enjoy a bit of the growing season already where you're at. Maybe you're still in the planting stages. Maybe you're just starting seeds. I don't know. I'd love to hear it if you leave it in the comments below. And just so we can kind of see what each other are doing in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, because I know some of you guys are moving into fall and winter. And so it's a little bit different south of the equator. So I would love to know what you guys are doing, and let me know what is one of the favorite things that you have been experiencing this time of year. Right now, it's this for me. I promised I would show you guys the beautiful blue sky. That's what it looks like right now. Isn't that amazing? So I know it's short-lived, but it's been nice after we had a lot of big kind of gray spells, though I enjoyed that as well. I just like the variety. So anyway, have a wonderful week. I don't know when I'm going to post this weekend. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys again in March. Bye, friends.
Okay, I thought I would just share a little bit of my experience because I have now learned a thing or two if you are going to be laying landscape fabric down, especially on a slope, especially one as steep as this. So the first thing is you see me here using the roll. Don't do that. Cut a piece and take it with you. I feel like I was going to fall off that hill so many times with that roll because especially when it's heavy or when the bigger rolls, they're heavier in the beginning. And so it was very helpful to cut a piece and then take it up like I am doing here. Another thing I'll say is that I should have put this bottom section on before I put the top section because you should always have the higher layer sitting on top of the lower layer, and that way when water or dirt runs off, it'll run down and not into the second layer, if that makes sense. So that's why I had to, when I ran the second layer through, I had to go through and tuck it underneath the first layer. The other thing you're seeing me do right here is sweeping off that mulch. I'd already kind of pulled off most of the mulch, but I'm coming through and sweeping as much as I can because it is filled with weed seeds and I need it gone. I have weeds growing on top of the mulch, or that's why I'm doing this again, is because I had it growing on top of the mulch. And I have weeds that are invasive enough to be coming up through the mulch. So I left the old landscaping fabric down and I put this on top of it, and I'm hoping that'll help me. Another tip that I kind of gleaned, which would be obvious if you were down on the ground, but not so much when you're up on a slope, is to not necessarily stake it as you go and lay it all down and then go through and stake it across, because you can make some adjustments. On a hill, you feel like you really need to anchor one side with the stakes and then pull it. And I guess if doing it at one end is okay. But when I was doing it as I went, it was hard to tell if I was going in a straight line because I was on a slope. And here comes little garden helper asking what all this black fabric is. I just had to explain to her why mommy kept running up and down the hill so many times. So that's most of what I learned this time. It seems like a silly thing to learn about, just laying landscaping fabric down, but there are some things that you learn with experience. I'm sure you guys might have some even better tips that I didn't think of, and if you have any suggestions for me, I still have to do that bottom section. But my plan right now is to not put mulch over this. So this is kind of what it looks like now at the end. You can see that section that doesn't have any fabric because I ran out. So I'm going to have to get some more to finish that off. But my plan right now is to clean up the individual steps where the mulch is still sitting to kind of remove all those weed seeds and the mulch that it's in. And then just leave this bare and black like this because I have had too much trouble trying to stop the weeds from growing in the mulch. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully next time I see you, this hill will be done and I'll be ready to plant in the bottom of it. See you next time. Bye, friends.